It would be easy to center all of the praise for A Thousand Blows on the fact that it is the most credible substitute for Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight to date. In fact, it's so alluring that I will. However, this is also in recognition of Knight's outstanding contributions to works such as SAS Rogue Heroes, and Tom Hardy's delectably delicious Taboo. Knight's return to England's criminal underworld, several decades before Tommy Shelby began to establish himself, seems a lot more familiar. Because of its genetic makeup, A Thousand Blows is somewhat related to the expansive Shelby saga, even though it is set in the 1880s rather than 1919 like Peaky Blinders and in London rather than Birmingham. It follows Hezekiah Moscow, Malachi Kirby, and Alec Monroe, Francis Lovehall, two Jamaican immigrants who come to Victorian London to make their fortune, as they are swiftly and unavoidably enmeshed in a life of crime and illegal bare-knuckle boxing. Aaron Doherty, The Crown, as real-life gang leader Mary Carr, and the fierce Stephen Graham, one of the UK's greatest contributions to the modern screen, as seasoned boxer Sugar Goodson complete the top line of the cast. Graham is the antithesis of his Peaky Blinder pacifist, and Carr is an intriguing parallel to Tommy Shelby, presenting a sharp contrast with the proper sensibilities of the Victorian era, and especially the expectations of women therein. In all honesty, it's a victorious continuation of Stephen Knight's outstanding performance. A Thousand Blows doesn't really have a main character because the attention is divided between Mary Carr and Hezekiah Moscow, with some time also spent on Sugar Goodson. The Oliver Twist stand-in, Hezekiah, is taken to London in order to discover his fortune and is almost instantly drawn into criminal activity. Moscow is great. He's a more subdued, less cartoonish character with deep, still waters. It's fascinating to watch his practical descent into the underworld. Aaron Doherty was a revelation in the early seasons of The Crown as the young Princess Anne. She then supported that with a well-received performance in Chloe, but it seems like she has been waiting for opportunities to align with her clear talent. Mary Carr is just as captivating as Tommy Shelby was, so that will undoubtedly happen now. Equally haunted and complex. With a hint of Bill Sikes' violence, she resembles Fagin and Nancy from Oliver Twist more than anything else. As a man of words rather than violence, Stephen Graham entered Peaky Blinders with unusual restraint. The complete opposite is his portrayal of Sugar Goodson, which, to be honest, is exactly what I had hoped he would do in the Birmingham set production. Similar to his breakthrough performance as Andrew Combo Gascoigne in Shane Meadows' This Is England, he is utterly terrifying. He is similar to Arthur Shelby in that regard, and importantly, he strikes a balance between his violent tendencies and something more profound. Each of the primary characters is like that. At times, flashbacks are used to tell Hezekiah's horrific origin story, and both Sugar and Mary bear the scars of their early years. All three of them exhibit a subtle brilliance in the way that the ghosts of their past threaten to destroy their aspirations for improvement and their outward bravado. And you often get that only from the details of the physical performance. I really can't express how wonderful they are enough. Similar to Peaky Blinders, even small parts in A Thousand Blows showcase British talent. Along with Billy Elliot's father, Gary Lewis, Kieran O'Brien of Nine Songs, and stand-up comedian Tom Davis, typically a kind giant whose size here is much more an expression of violence, the excellent Ashley Walters makes an appearance. This feels like a true display of British talent because they are all used brilliantly and sparingly. Also deserving of recognition are Jason Tobin, the story's most reluctant participant, who plays the moral core of the narrative as a Chinese hotel owner, and Daniel Mays, who plays a somewhat supporting role but is usually outstanding, as he is in everything he appears in. This is worth watching just for his facial expressions. Peaky Blinders was more of a cultural reset, especially in the UK, than a great TV series. For at least 10 years following Tommy Shelby's arrival, you could see his drastic haircut worn with comical regularity in addition to his clothes, which included flat caps devoid of razors. The Thousand Elephants have a totally different and less practical aesthetic, so A Thousand Blows lacks that, but it does have the same kind of twisted romantic fantasy of a less savory period of UK history. Despite its outstanding narrative, Peaky Blinders made a mistake by expanding its focus beyond the Shelby's neighborhood. We became less intimate as Tommy's world expanded. The opening scene of A Thousand Blows is more reminiscent of the gangs of New York, condensing the vast scope of London into what seems like a single square mile. With Sugar Goodson's pub at its center, the directors are able to create an aesthetic that resembles a stage set. It's a very ingenious way to emphasize that message and the subliminal sign of invasion that Hezekiah and Alex stand for in Goodson's world. With multiple threads of active and background stories leading to flawless world building, the show is oddly essentially a heist story without the typical gloss of that genre. Admittedly, it's pretty busy, but the web of threads connects quite nicely. This has the drawback of marginalizing some of the more intriguing supporting characters. It's unclear if 8,000 Blows will have the same cultural impact right away as Peaky Blinders because Hulu shows always seem to have a glass ceiling, but there's no denying that the show deserves, indeed demands, attention. The story moves along brilliantly, the performances are excellent, and the characters are as immediately captivating as expansive HBO dramas manage. I can't decide if Stephen Graham's portrayal of a walking landmine that is ready to detonate at any moment or Aaron Doherty's multifaceted performance is the best selling point. I believe Malachi Kirby's portrayal of Hezekiah is ultimately deserving of it. All three are outstanding, but Kirby is bolder because he is a more recent character type in the Night universe. Additionally, the show falls short if you are more interested in the plot than in the performances. 1,000 Blows is great for its differences as well as all the comparisons to Peaky Blinders. Even the commonalities, the gangland tales, the socio-political commentary, the vibrant characters, are novel and captivating. Furthermore, the centralization of a female gang and the immigrant narrative may lead some lazy critics to mistakenly claim that this is wokey Blinders, but all they will accomplish is lose out on something truly unique. I haven't seen a 6-episode run as strong as 8,000 Blows in a long time. I wish it had more, but fortunately it does. A second season is on the horizon and it can't arrive soon enough. Run to see it until then.